Okay, what's the question?
Could you give it to accountants, CPAs, or how you call them? Like they in Germany they do calculation for projects, and you give.
Sure they can, sure you can, but he doesn't trust them. Is it because you're too cheap, you don't want to pay him, or you don't trust him? Ah, I have a feeling. No. Short arms, deep pockets.
When we do a project, it is very easy to say the project is okay or no. It's a few seconds, we look at it and it's okay or not okay. And to be sure that nothing will happen, because I don't want to have a bad project, I do some calculations with problems that may occur and with chances that there could be, and the calculations are higher than the costs are, the incomes will be, the real costs
Sure,
will be lower,
understand.
and the income will be higher.
You're doing your own risk
And
analysis.
so,
Okay.
yeah, and it doesn't take so long as to explain to one, please. I would have sit him here and give him the numbers he shall enter. So I can do it on my own.
And the good thing about crunching numbers, because I do it from time to time, I say it is when you negotiate, it doesn't matter with whom, with the bank or someone else.
But the model changes every 5 minutes, yeah?
Sorry?
The model changes every 5 minutes.
Yeah, right. And so you know which change of which number has which impact on the bottom line. So you can easily,
Exactly.
when you're in a meeting or
Okay,
negotiation.
that may be well and true, but I'm here to tell you, you are restricting your ability to grow. Yeah, let's say that you're right. I don't believe that you're 100% right, but let's just say you are 100% right. And let's say that, but you're restricting, by definition, categorically, you're restricting your ability to grow based on what you can do as an individual. That's no way to grow a fucking business. I'm just telling you. Of course, I understand. Of course, I know. That's why I'm saying it. So I'm just saying that's no way to grow a business. So either one, you gotta have somebody else do it, or you gotta. But even if you do big projects, even if you do $1 billion project, and you do the numbers, you can only, according to what you say, for me to understand and for me to be able to interface with the banker, and for me to, when the parameters change, for me to understand, because I understand the numbers intricately, because I've helped put them together, I've manufactured them, I initiated them. You're limiting your ability to be a one-man show.
Of course.
Okay. And you're not, I'm here to teach you how to be more than a one-man show. That's the whole reason you come here.
Use a white piece of paper.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. We're going to get there. But the thing is that you can't do it by yourself. That's that's the bottom line.
Of course.
You need more people,
Yeah.
or at least one more person, and not one more person, because if that person gets hit by a truck, then you're back to where you are today. And if the Polish incident, air tragedy, didn't teach anybody anything, everybody knows what happened in Poland. All those people died. The president, the head of the Bank of Poland, the head of the army and the Air Force, the head of everybody fucking died. And I've been telling people for years, don't fly all together. The thing about corporate jets and corporate planes, the team flying is such a load of shit. Fly on separate planes. Do you want your whole fucking legacy to go down with one air crash? Well, one whole fucking country went down. You will see insurance policies for key executives change over fucking night. They are canceling policies left, right, and center. They are saying that, you're restricted to how many people you can fly with, etc., which I've been saying for 15 years. Because I've seen this, not in such a magnitude as this, but I've seen Best Foods guys went down a number of years ago. Gulf Oil 25 years ago. I've seen this happen more than once. So, if you want your legacy to go down a toilet, be the only one that knows how to do anything. Or worse yet, keep everything in your goddamn head. Or keep everything on your miserable little laptop, and then when you go down, it goes down with you. I've seen this happen a lot of times. Did you, well, I guess did I answer your question? Or did you have a question? Okay. Okay, Einstein, did you have a question?
No.
No. Okay. Now, the same companies that we just were talking about beyond the that we talked about, for the most part, are also world's most admired people management. And because they're building that, what? What did you say that you wanted your CEO should be?
Culture.
Huh? Culture. You already forgot.
Enthusiasm.
Culture. Okay. But I mean, when you got 3 people, you're not building a culture. You know, when you got 103 people, maybe you start to build a culture. When you got 1,000 people, then yeah, you got a culture. But when you got 5 people, or you got 1 person and you got 3 parties you don't trust with the numbers, I mean, that's not much of a goddamn culture. It's very German, but it's not much of a culture.
No, it's not a mistrust against these partners. It's a kind of approaching the behavior of the numbers versus each other. So I want to think about it myself and calculate the risks myself.
Yeah, well, I understand that, but that's still a one-man show.
Yeah.
It's still a one-man show. Now, I alluded to yesterday about silo management. This was Sony's breakdown of silo management. Teams are great ways to build morale and competitive spirit, but they need to be coordinated or they risk duplicating tasks. Listen to customers, not just to engineers. Sony's engineers are among the world's best, but they were slow to see that customers demand user-friendly software. This is also Siemens is guilty of this. Manage for success. Sony's founders wanted to create the ideal workplace, and its employees are loyal and dedicated. But success in the marketplace is what ultimately pays the bills. Okay, let's say we got 1 management team, 2 management teams, 3 management teams. Okay, and we're in an engineering project or a property project, doesn't matter. And you guys come up with this issue, and you come up with a situation you really can't solve. Okay, so you know what a silo is? A grain silo. You put grain in. So you throw it out of your silo and you throw it into their lap for them to fix. And they think, well, what the fuck? Why are these guys giving this to us? That's not our deal. So we throw it down. Remember, I told you that what I was interested in management is, here, how can I help you? I'm out of work, which is not part of the programmer's vocabulary. I'm done with my stuff. I'm ahead of schedule. So let me help you with your deal. That's the kind of management. Not broken down by teams, and that's what teams do. They can be competitive, and I've used team management a lot to instill competitive nature and give a new basis for bonuses, etc. But what it does is it also doesn't want you to help them complete their task or you to help them complete their task. And the reason why is because obviously you may have done 85% of the work and they may have done 5% of the work or 10% of the work, and this team puts the 5% on and makes it work. So what credit, first of all, it's tough to break down who gets what credit, how do you split up the pie. But normally the people that finish the project are the ones that get the kudos. I'm not saying that's wrong, but that's what's wrong with team management. And Sony developed one of the first, 40, 50 years ago, to develop team management. But with every management style, it's got its downside. You know, every style's got its downside. Whether it's autocratic like me, or it's Henry Kissinger. All management styles, and that's why when you get back, you're going to have to find your own management style that fits your personality, because I'm not expecting or demanding or even wanting you to turn into little Dans, because it won't work. It'll only work for a short period of time. If you're not acting out your own personality, it'll only work a short period of time. You have to do it what you feel in your gut. What you feel in your gut. Remember, I told you motivation gets you started, habit keeps you going. Excellence is not a single act, it's a habit. Some of these big companies that we refer to, Sony, Siemens, etc., are great because they, in their culture, they've developed good habits. Now, some of those good habits are falling away because now we want a 30-hour work week or 32-hour work week. You know, we have to pay double time or overhead, and if you work on holidays, and I assume they have that in Germany, if you work on holidays, you got to be paid more than regular pay, etc. Yeah, okay. Well, this is a tough culture to be competitive, and one of the things that I followed closely when I was associated with Siemens is the fighting with the unions. I mean, that are very powerful in Germany, and they're very powerful in the supervisory board. Almost all the German companies, maybe in fact probably all the German companies, and to get them to make concessions. I mean, it's tough. You know, the unions used to be a powerhouse in America. They're not anymore. There used to be 4 or 5 million members of the unions. Now they're down to about 1 million. And the reason they're not is because companies like Walmart busted the back of unions because they're the biggest employer in the world and they're non-union. They're non-organized. You know, some people say Walmart is taking advantage of the employees because they've successfully been able to avert being led into collective bargaining. You can't argue with success. Walmart is eminently successful. Some of their methods aren't necessarily loved, but they do good. And when you find, generally speaking, although there's discrimination lawsuits at Walmart, generally speaking, people that are employed in Walmart are happy. They're happy. And that's more than you can say for a lot of companies. People that are in the automotive industry right now are generally unhappy. As we alluded to yesterday, you know, all these car plants and all these things closing down. They're pretty much unhappy. Now, but we have to instill in our people, whether we've got 3 people, 5 people, or 105 people, the habit of excellence. And it's tough. In some of the Asian countries, not China, but in some of the other Asian countries, the habits are dictated around the Catholic Church. I'm not slamming the Catholic Church here, but around the Catholic Church. The Philippines is 97.5% or 98.5% Catholic. They got more. I've discovered in the last 3 years of living in Manila more Catholic holidays than I ever knew existed. And I was raised a Catholic, and I went through all the Catholic schooling. I never knew that they had so many deals. There's a lot of them, and boy, the Filipinos take them all. Except they pale in complexion to the Indians. Because in India, they got 10,000 gods. I mean, there's a damn holiday for everything. And then once you get done with the Indian holidays, there's the Muslim holidays. The Hindi holidays, you get the Muslim holiday. Because a lot of the Indians are Muslim. A lot more than you think until the holidays come. Then all of a sudden, you think all these guys are Hindi, they're Muslim all of a sudden. I don't really believe that. But you can't go by law. You can't go and say, are you Muslim or are you Hindi? You know. Put on your, when you get hired, you can't do that. No. I've been accused of doing that. It's an accusation, it's false. And my lawyers have written many statements to say that it's not true, that I would ask anybody's religious preference. It's like you can be gay, you can be anything, transvestite, whatever, as long as you dress like the sex you are, and you haven't perpetrated selling drugs to kids, being a pedophile or anything like that, you can work for a business that I run. I don't care, if you're green, purple, yellow, what you do in your private time is your private time. I have a little exception, like in Siemens, the engineer that got the guy on the internet and ate him alive. He cooked him and ate him alive, the Siemens engineer. Other than that, I got a problem with that. Cannibalism I'm not into. So, especially if it's one of my employees. If it's one of your employees, I can probably live with it. And always, again, with common sense, bad things happen to good companies all the time. And occasionally, good things happen to bad companies. It never ceases to amaze me how some of the shit asses I know dodge through and weasel through, and something good happens to them. The law changes, they move to Jersey or Guernsey, they slip dodge a bullet. But you gotta know that your whole life can't end because something bad happened to you. Because bad things happen to good companies all the time. All the time. Now, in the world of karma, they say that they got what they deserved. Now, I'm not as sophisticated or smart enough to know if that's all true. But I do know, I see a lot of people that were shitty to people on the way up, and when they're coming down the other side of the ladder, people tend to be shitty to them. And so I don't know if reincarnation is true. I don't know what I'll come back as. But I know some people that will come back as an ant that you're going to step on.